I'm gonna hit record. There we go. Just a light wash of Payne's Gray. And I'm going to start, let's start up here. A very light wash of Payne's Gray. Does everyone see that? Thank you. We're not going to get all those white feathers. It's just impossible. So we'll try to do the best we can. But just a light wash for now. And we are going to go see the direction of the of his feathers. So let's just splay, okay? We'll practice splaying instead of doing dry brush. We'll just tackle one technique at a time, I guess. I'm gonna paint in the direction of his feathers, okay? To create a rounded shape. If you do make a mistake, all you have to do is dab it off with your paper towel and you should be fine. Okay. He's got a bit of a highlight over here that I already painted over, so I'm going to dab it off and try again. That's this bit of an indent in his head. See that? Yep. Okay, great. And of course I painted over the white feathers already. Whew. Oh, there it is, I can see. There we go. Something like that. I should have went over my pencil lines, made them a little bit darker, but can't do everything right. Okay, and then splaying my brush as I'm going down, and then these feathers go this direction and also go around. Okay, so something like that. It's got some feathers like that. That. I am using Payne's Gray, and that's it, with no mixes. It's not that hard. And I did mix a lot of, quite a large wash, okay? You always want to mix more than you think you're gonna need. All right, so there's my gray down. Okay, and he's got a bit of a warm, shade on this area. And his feathers are a little bit warm. So I'm gonna add a little bit of warmth to that. So a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of warmth to his beak. Maybe some up here too. If you're adding this after your paint is dried, it'll still be fine. Nothing's gonna go wrong. Huh?
Use the white again.
I'm into the light.
White.
I'm into the white.
Yeah, you went into the white.
I did?
You did.
That's okay. It'll be fine.
Two different occasions. Oh my
It'll be fine. That's what my napkin is for. There we go. So I want to keep this area really white and this area really white. Okay. And the rest can be a little bit of a warm color. Like that. And I'm gonna use a little bit of Viridian green. Does everyone know what Viridian green is? No? Yep. It's like a teal color, yes. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do the eyes here. So there's the white spot on his eyes. I'm going to make a big circle around. Do I need to zoom in? That'll probably help, right? Okay, so I'm leaving a bit of white for his eyes there. And I'm just going to touch that like that. Hopefully this will be not as bad. Okay. So since we're doing more detail on the beak, I'm gonna use the smaller brush, which is my number 10 Princeton. Okay. Payne's Gray again. I'm gonna have a backup brush, one to soften and one to paint with. So 2 brushes. 2 brushes about the same size. Okay. Oh, sorry. There we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be a painting, not a photograph, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. And something like that. And we'll soften that out a bit. And if you want, you can put a little bit of red, a little bit of alizarin red, like the bird's just ate a fish. He's got some blood on his beak. Okay. And if you do it too much, he's gonna have lipstick on his beak. So you don't overdo it. Okay. And then the top side, it's got a bit of somewhat of a line on top of that beak there. And then his mouth, the opening, it's got a strong line. And we'll use that as a guide. He's sure got a lot of scratches on his beak here. Actually should be white. That should be white, so we'll just erase that. We'll just soften that up a bit. We'll soften this top part up a bit too. Something like that. And the bottom here. And under here, under his, what was this called, his throat? It's got a bunch of dots, so I'm just going to do a very delicate dry brush. If you're not able to pull that off, do a little bit of practice first on a sheet of paper. But didn't make it not that hard. It's not that hard. Yeah, definitely grab a extra sheet of paper if you have it, or just flip on the back. And I'm using the same brush, that small Princeton brush, and
We can't see that.
oh shoot. Okay, just like that. And the texture of the paper is what's gonna help with pulling all that detail out. Okay. And you can, I guess you can cheat and just do it with like dots, dabbing your brush. That probably will help a bit, right? Okay, right? It's good enough. And we are gonna go up onto the top. There, he's got some feathers up here, like that. And some feathers on his eyes, so I'm just gonna do some feathers like that. Soften some of it. And around his eyes. Feathers under his eyes. A little bit of a dry brush effect up there. And around his eyes like that. A little bit of dry brush there, and we'll just soften it out with my damp, clean brush. It's got a bit of the sun is hitting the top of his head there, so it's not going to be as dark. And again, the indent there from his, I guess his cranium, or his skull. It's creating that dent. Okay. Is that enough for this step?
Yeah.
Let's pull that in there. Okay. All right. So next step, we're just gonna finish up the body. For this step, I'm using my calligraphy brush so I can splay the bristles out. Okay. Again, I'm using Payne's Gray. Always mix more paint than you think you're gonna need. I'm gonna splay the brush out like that. And we're gonna continue to paint. And to do these feathers on his chest or throat, to do the feathers on his chest and throat, you're gonna have to go, you see I'm painting one direction, and then his feathers start going to other directions, kind of like a comb, a center comb, okay? Just painting, I'm painting the same direction as his feathers are going with a splayed brush, okay? Once the feathers are in, I'm just going to go in and soften some of these hard edges, just to create some interest. If you're not confident with doing this, then you can just skip this part. Typically with the way I do my watercolors, I like to have some soft and hard edges, just to have a little bit of a balance. Okay. we're gonna add more details. So with my small brush, just this one. Add a little bit of orange and red.
Orange apple.
Orange and red. Just for its cheeks. Its cheeks are orange reddish. So under his eyes, I got a little bit of orange. Should I zoom in?
Thank you.
Okay. So under his eyes, a little bit of orange there. And then under his cheeks there,
There it is.
bit of orange.
Mine's wearing it.
And here, in its throat. It's a little bit orange as well, but I'm going to soften that because it goes from white to orange. So with my clean, wet brush, I'm just feathering that out, okay? I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a red-orange color. I'm just putting some finer details in. Okay. Something like that. So I think that's enough for the for that color. Excuse me. We're gonna do the eyes. So we're using Viridian. So a lot stronger this time. And try to save its the white spot, the reflection on his eyes. So what I'm going to do to create his eyes is I'm going to wet his eyes first. I'm gonna go around that white area. I'm gonna go in with my Viridian. It's gonna be quite strong. So kind of like right from the, actually I'm going to go right from the pan. Without a wash, I'm just gonna drop it in. Like that. And because it's wet, it's just going to disperse when I put it in to the eyes there. Something like that.
Bursting.
It's dispersing. It's kind of dispersing, right? And then with my clean brush, I'm going to go ahead and soften and create that reflection on its eyes. Like that. And then just a tint of blue here. I'm gonna use my, which blue were you? We weren't even using blue, eh? A little bit of Prussian blue. Just create a little bit of a shadow. There. Okay. And then we'll wait for that to dry and then we'll put in that black, his pupil there. Yeah, I think that's it for this step. So we did the cheeks and the hit record. Oh, here we go. So we're doing shadows. So there's a bit of a oh, sorry. I'm also gonna use two brushes again. One to soften, one to paint. Sorry?
Can you zoom in a bit?
It's gonna be for the whole thing, so yeah. So we're not gonna be able to zoom in too much. So under his beak, a lot of shadows, shadow there. I'm gonna add some shadow in there. He's got a shadow under there. So I'm emphasizing the shadows more than what the picture has. And he's got this bit of a shoulder there. So, and then with my clean brush, I'm going to just soften the shadows out. Under the eyes, there should be a shadow. Top of his eyes is shadowed, and under his eyes are shadowed, so do that as well. So if you do wait too long, it's gonna dry on you, like it's doing it for me. So you do have to work a little bit fast. Overdid it over here. We'll just dab it off. So if I'm just fixing some of the shadow that I overdid. Okay. I'm gonna define some of these feathers a little bit better. Don't like that shadow there, so I'm going to scrub and pull that off a bit. Okay, so that looks better. And then I'm gonna finish up the eyes. So with some Payne's Gray, I'm going straight into right into my paint. I'm not gonna wash it off or dilute it. So strong paint, I'm just gonna add the eyes there. And define it a little bit better. It's got a bit of a ring around the eyes there. So I can add some of the finer details. Like that. Fix whatever needs to be fixed. I think I messed up here. This is a little bit messed up in this area, but that's fine. It's just an exercise. Ooh, yeah, I think that's it for the shadows. And then we have one more step, which is white ink and cleanup. So if we made any mistakes, we can clean that up. If we need to pull out more white feathers in this area, we can use some white ink to do that. Okay, so I'll turn the lights on, let you guys do the shadows, and then we will finish up. White ink. So this is calligraphy ink. And what we can do with it is these white feathers that got covered up, we can bring it back out. Maybe the white in the eyes. Maybe if you lost some detail in with your paint, we can pick that up and recover some of that white. So, grab some white ink. I did dry my painting before I started this.
You dried it.
I did. It's a good idea to dry it before you add any white ink or.
Can you use white paint or do you have to use white?
I find white watercolor is transparent, so it's not doesn't work quite as well. You need something opaque. Some people use acrylic. But I find that white ink is actually the best to recover any lost white.
So we're not going to use the white part? No. Yeah, because it makes it kind of milky. It says it covers better.
As you can see, it does work quite well. Yep. But okay.